Hello, today I'm going to show you how to install the IRL Tools camsaver onto the Sony FDR X3000. First step, you must remove your back cable port cover. I made a video going over how to do this. It's real simple. You could alternatively cut this little plastic piece here, but I don't recommend you cut it. It's not that hard to take the camera, open it, pull that out, and then reassemble it. So if you're looking for that, that'll be linked in the description below. Start there first. So now that we've got that undone, we're going to go over our camsaver kit. This comes with every tool you will need to install this. So first we have our little IRL Tools card here. This is just going to be your instruction guide if you'd rather read. All right, so start there. Then we have our IRL hosting card, which has the co-owner, Riley, it's Guy Gira. It's information, contact, websites, all that, QR codes, pretty much everything that you'd need on a business card. So, where to start here? First, we have to clean off the front of our camera if we're installing the dead cat or wind muffler on here. I won't be doing that in this video, but I will go over how to do it. So, clean it off with some rubbing alcohol or something. Just make sure it's clear of any dust, dirt, debris, or lint. Then we're going to take one of these little circular things with this little arrow, and we want to fit it onto the camera. So line up the center of this arrow here with the center of your camera. Get everything lined up. It's important that you don't block these two holes, one at the end of stereo and one at the beginning of stereo. These are your microphone holes. If you block these, you will not get the proper sound coming through. So once you've installed that little ring, you're going to take your dead cat, going to look for the not fluffy side here, the textured side. And you're going to peel off the thing on that little adhesive strip and just kind of place this on. Once you've got this on and installed, we then move on to installing the actual camsaver. So first, we have our camsaver base here. Make sure to support this center screw or it will fall out. It's not held in by anything. I recommend that you leave the screws at the front and the back installed because they are holding in these little metal plates here, which we can flip upside down and it will not drop out. So I recommend you leave those in for now. What we're going to do is we're going to find the back, which is where the nub here is, and the screw. Find that on our camera right here at the back. Gonna flip it upside down and just kind of get that threaded in a little bit by hand, as much as you can. Ideally, make sure you're not cross-threading it. Then grab your big Allen wrench and just tighten that up, snug it up. Once that's snug, move that off the side here. Then we're going to just take off all of these other screws real quick. You can do this by hand, but I find it easier just take the Allen key and just spin it. So there goes our fronts. Now let's take out the backs. And I'll do this one by hand to show. It can be done, it just takes a little bit longer. So move that off to our side here. And we're going to start out with the back. So that is the most important part of this setup here, at least in my opinion. So make sure it lines up. hooks on top of the camera. Make sure you can see your 2 ports are blocked by these 4 grub screws here. Now that we've done that, grab our long screws and just screw this down into the base. Grab our medium length Allen wrench again. Just snug those down. They don't need to be insanely tightened. It is recommended that you keep them, it's recommended that you keep these Allen keys with your IRL streaming bag, just in case you ever need to take off your camsaver, adjust anything comes loose from over time, the rattling and walking around. You know, just general, be safe. Make sure you carry these around with you in case you ever need them. So now that we've got our back on, we can install the front. There are a few different front pieces that you can install. If you are lucky enough to have one of those Sony lens covers that you could have gotten when the camera was new. Right now they're running a bit high. I think I've seen some going for like $80 for just a lens cover. They are important, but $80, I don't know about that. So first we have this short one here, right? Just covers up your dead cat, holds it down in place, screws onto the front here, right? Then you'd put on your Sony lens cover on there. I don't have one. So we're going to be moving on to the next piece that most people will install, which is going to be this one here. There is no lens protector in here. It does have protection from the sides, but nothing directly head on. And this just slips over. There is some play in this, so it's not going to fit snugly against the outer ring of the lens. I've seen a bunch of people running their cameras just like this. This is fine to do. I personally just didn't feel comfortable doing this one, so I'm not going to be using this either. What I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using the other one here that they provide, which has a lens cover in it. I also purchased extra lenses in case this lens ever got damaged, so then I could replace it and I wouldn't be out of a lens cover or have a big scratch on my lens cover should anything happen to it for a while. So this is going to fit a little bit more snugly around the ring. So you just got to take this, kind of just wiggle it onto the ring here. Like I said, it's quite a bit more snug. And this holds itself on because of how snug it is on the lens. Yours might be different, but mine's quite snug and a little bit difficult to get on. So just play around with it if yours is difficult. I don't know if that's the, just difference in manufacturing, whether or not it's just like size difference, just barely because of the 3D printing. I don't know. Or if it's intended to be that tight. I think it's intended to be that tight to kind of protect the gap and prevent any dust and debris getting inside of your camera. But I haven't asked, so I'm not too sure. So going to just tighten these up. And while you're putting on your front mount, this would be a good time to decide whether or not you want to have your dead cat hanging out the sides here. It's not going to do anything hanging out the sides, but if you want it to look nice and neat, you can kind of pack it in and just hide it behind the front covers. But that's all up to personal choice and preference on whether or not you want to do that. So now that we've got those nice and snugged up, our camsaver is installed. And we could be done here, but I'm going to go over these little grub screws in the back. So in your toolkit, there will be 3 Allen wrenches, a long, a short, fat, and then a short, skinny. So you're going to need the short and skinny one for your grub screws in the back. And you just want to loosen these up nice and loose. Make ample room for you to insert your cables. You're going to need to loosen both sides. So once we've got these nice and loosened up, plenty of room to play around in there with our cables. Plug your 2 cables in. And then you're going to start with this thicker side here first. And what you're going to do is you're just going to tighten these up until they rest against your cables. This is the support side of the system, which means that your cables are going to be supported on this side, and then this is the side where you're going to pressure them and hold them in place. So you will then do this thinner side here, get them snugged up on your cable. Don't over tighten this. You can crush and damage your cables with these, right? So snug it up and then do an 1/8 to a 1/4 turn. That is all that they recommend, is once it's on there, right, either an additional 1/8 or 1/4 turn. That is up to you on how much you want to go. But just keep in mind, if you over tighten it, you're going to damage your cables. So now that we've gone over that, our installation's done. Now, the reason we have these grub screws here is to protect the ports in the camera and keep your cables from getting ripped out while moving IRL streaming. These screws are strong enough, if you set them up, to completely support the camera with just the cables. Where I could put the cables in here and just kind of grab the cables and hold the camera, fling it around. I've seen videos of people take them with the camsaver and their cables and just kind of throw their camera over the ledge of a building and then just pull it back up by the cables. So it's an insanely useful and well-designed product, which I would 100% recommend if you're looking to get into IRL streaming and you buy a AS300 or an FDR X3000, get a camsaver. It will save your camera. It's essential. But with that, thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, comment, or subscribe if you really like the content that I'm making here. Most of my content will be on Twitch, however. But thank you for watching these tutorials, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of whatever time of day it is for you. Goodbye.